Work from home, that's many people's dream. And currently also many people's nightmare. Hi, it's Mariana, and in today's video I'm going to give you 10 tips on how you can increase your productivity while working at home. Not only that you can be more productive, but you can also get the promotion and recognition at work that you deserve. If you're currently working from home, type down below in the comment section home together with the country you are living at the moment. Let's get straight into those tips. Tip number 1. Look at it as an opportunity to create new habits to increase your productivity. I believe that each time there is some kind of big change in our life, it's an opportunity to create new habits. Because you probably know it, breaking old habits, bad habits, is extremely difficult. But when there is a empty canvas, it's actually not that difficult to create new and healthy habits. So you might have had some bad habits at work. Like for example, you came to work and first thing you did was you checked your emails and you started responding to the emails, and then suddenly 3 hours later you realized that you actually wanted to work on something that was way more important for you. Well, now is the time to create new healthy habits so that you don't get into the same traps as you did during your work. Tip number 2, don't be a victim. It's very easy to say, oh, I now have to work from home, it's crap, and now I will not get the promotion because of this and this and this. No, look at it as an opportunity, because we are all on the same boat. We are all struggling with the same things. All your colleagues, if you are working from home, probably all your other colleagues are also working from home. So it's all the same for everyone. But there will be people who will look at it as an opportunity and will try to think outside of the box, will try to bring something new, use it well. And then there are people who will be just victimizing themselves, will be complaining. Look at it as an opportunity to show your boss that you are able to work on your own without him or her breathing on your neck, and you're able to make the decisions. And even like if you ever wanted to work from home before and your company didn't allow it, now this is your opportunity to show your company that you can be even more productive now that you're working from home, so that they can maybe, once everything is back to usual, you can then take those 1 or 2 days a week to work from home. Tip number 3, think outside the box. In the past, there have been, difficult times for companies, and there were companies who went down, and then there were companies who actually rise, and then they were doing really great despite the economy being bad and everyone else doing really badly. So the reason why those companies did so well was because they had people inside the company who were willing to think outside of the box, willing to find new solutions, find solutions for their customers. So make sure that you start thinking outside of the box. You start thinking about your customers in a new way. And by customers, I mean customers of your company, but you might be a customer to your teammates, or you are working closely with your boss. So try to think about how you can make the life easier for not only the customers, but also for your team, for your boss, etc. Tip number 4, set up an environment that will encourage you to be productive. One of the number one things you will hear about setting up your home office is to have a separate space where you will work. It's of course an ideal case if you have a room where you can close the door and you can work without being disturbed by other people that are living with you. That's a perfect scenario, but it's not always possible. But the important thing is that you actually have one space where you work, whether it's a separate room, it's a kitchen table, or whatever place you have in your home. But it should be one, maximum 2 spaces that you use. It's a good idea to, if you're using 2 spaces, to use like one space in the mornings, one space in the afternoons, but to let the other people that are living with you know that when you are at this space, at this place, you are working. You should not be disturbed. So if you have a separate office, you can do it by closing the door, and that's a sign that they should not disturb you. If you are in the middle of a kitchen, maybe have headphones and tell them, okay, when I have headphones, it means don't disturb me, I'm working. Have the conversation with the people you're living with and let them know when they can disturb you and when they should not. Because if you're working every day from a different space, sometimes on the couch, sometimes from bedroom, from guest room, kitchen and living room, and sometimes you're working, sometimes you're using the work computer to actually do your personal stuff, you can't be really surprised if they are all the time disturbing you. So have the honest conversation with them. Another thing to think about when you are setting up your home office is the surroundings. So if you have an opportunity to be in a place where there are big windows, so there is good lighting, maybe you have a nice view outside where you can see some greenery, that's a really good thing to have. If you don't have the opportunity, make sure you have some green plants around you. There have been done multiple studies that show that having plants at your workplace, it's increasing your productivity, it's helping your mental health, and it's lowering your stress level. It is a very easy and cheap way how to make sure you're going to be more productive. If you have an opportunity to have a monitor, I really suggest working with a monitor and not only from your laptop. Have your space clean and uncluttered, because cluttered space means also cluttered mind. If you're working from office, leave your phone in a living room or somewhere else so you are not distracted by it. If you're using your computer for both work and personal usage, make sure that you have two accounts on the computer. So when you're working, you're using your work account where you don't have installed all the different programs or games that might distract you. Use some apps that block the certain websites, so you don't just go and check your Facebook, but you actually are focused on working. So make it really hard for yourself to get distracted. Tip number 5, work when it suits your productivity. Do you need to work 9 to 5? There are some jobs where even when you're working from home, you still need to work and be available 9 to 5. But in many cases, you don't have to. So make sure you figure out with your boss when you can work. If it's completely up to you, you just need to do the job, then think about when can you be most productive. If you have a house full of kids and your spouse is also working from home, maybe waking up 3 or even 4 hours before everyone else is going to guarantee you the time you need to really focus on your work. Think about it and figure out a schedule that is going to work for you. Make sure that it becomes a routine. So it's not a really good idea if one day you're waking up at 4 o'clock, another day at 9 o'clock, and sometimes you work between 9 and 5, sometimes you work in the mornings, in the evenings. Have a routine. Whether it's a routine that you follow every day, or let's say every Monday, Wednesday, Friday you work certain hours, and Tuesday and Thursdays you work different hours, but have some kind of routine. Tip number 6, have a ritual to start the day and to finish the day. When you're working from home, one of the things that you might be struggling with is to actually start working in the morning. You might feel like you might want to clean the whole house before you turn on the computer. One thing that will help you with it is to have a ritual to start the morning. For example, you might make your cup of tea or cup of coffee and then bring it to your workstation, turn on the computer, work on your to-do list, etc. It should be something that you enjoy, that is not very challenging, that might not be frightening to your brain when it's thinking about work. Because if you are thinking about the big project you need to work on, your brain will try to find ways how not to do that. So having some kind of small ritual takes 5 to 10 minutes that you do every day. It helps your brain to understand, okay, now it's time to work, but it's not so challenging that you would actually not do it and you would procrastinate on it. The other thing to do is to have some kind of cool down ritual or something what you do every day in the last 10 to 30 minutes of your work day. It's important to understand that if you want to be productive, you should be productive during the time when you're supposed to be working. You should not be working outside those hours, because you also need your rest period, time when you will refresh your brain and get the rest that you need. One thing to do, what you can do, is to create a ritual. It can be that you will clean and declutter your office, your desk, so that it's nice and ready for the next day. You might create a to-do list for next day. You might want to look at some metrics, or how your company or how your own numbers are doing, etc. Something that is, again, quite enjoyable, and you understand that after that there is no more emails, no more work. Another thing that I've learned in one of Tim Ferriss's podcast interviews, it was an interview with some writer. Unfortunately, I don't know which writer it was. If you've heard that interview, let me know down below. But what the writer talked about is how when he is working, instead of finishing a chapter during the day, he finishes in the middle of the chapter, or at least in the middle of a paragraph. He says that if he would finish the whole chapter, which could be quite easy to finish, then the next day starting a new chapter, it's quite challenging and it might put him off, and he might actually procrastinate on the work. But if he finishes in the middle of a chapter, middle of a paragraph, he then knows what he's going to write, and then when he comes and starts working, he just continues where he left off, and when he arrives to the end of the chapter, he's already in the flow and he can easily start a new chapter. So what I try to do is, if I'm working on a difficult project and I'm about to finish my day, I make sure that I finish in a way so that the next day when I start, the first 5 to 15 minutes are extremely easy, and I definitely know what I'm going to do. Because if I start the day like this, I'm not afraid to start the day, I'm not procrastinating because it's easy, and once I'm in the flow, it's easy to continue with the harder parts of the project. Tip number 7, scheduling and reviewing. When you're working from home, it's even more important to actually find the time to schedule your tasks, schedule your week, and also review your week. Especially if you want the special recognition or the promotion, if you want to show your boss that you are even more productive at home than you were at work. Finding a time when you're reviewing every week what went well, what didn't go so well, what you're avoiding, what maybe you should be spending more time on, and so on, is crucial. Make sure also that you schedule some time when you are thinking about how you can improve your position at your work, so that you have the time when you're actually thinking about those creative and new ways how to serve your customers, your team, your boss, etc. Tip number 8, learn something new. If your company is not doing so well, maybe you have less projects than usual, you might have some extra time. This is a great opportunity to learn something new. Maybe there is a program that you're using at work that you know that you could be handling a bit better. Maybe there is something that you need to improve. Make sure that you check with your company to see if you have an access to platforms like LinkedIn Learning or Skillshare or any other platform like this. If you don't have a free access for your company, you can still get free and paid courses on your own, whether it's through those platforms, or there are also universities that are putting out free content through Coursera or other websites. You can learn things like business negotiation, presentation skills. You can learn how to work better with Excel, with CRM, a lot of other programs you might be using. If you're unsure what you should be learning, what you should be spending time on, think about where you want to be in 5 years in your career. Think about the position you would like to have in those 5 years, and then think about what this person who is in that position needs to know, and then learn that. Tip number 9, reach out to your colleagues. Now is the time to build your reputation as a leader. Reach out to your colleagues, ask them if they need help with anything, ask them how they are, how their family is doing. It's time to get a bit more personal, to get to know them and to let them know that you are there if they need you. Don't be also afraid to ask for help if you need it. Building a reputation of someone who cares is definitely going to improve your chances to have a good position in your company. You can also start some fun challenges for your colleagues so that you really become one team and work better together. Tip number 10 is about what you can do if you are stuck at home with your kids. My very good friend Sasha created an excellent resource for families with kids that are now stuck at home, where the parents need to work and the kids need to be homeschooled. I will link it out below. Make sure that you check it out. It's full of amazing links to stuff like meal prep, exercise, some homeschooling activities for children from the very young ones till their teenage years. So make sure you check it out, you download it, and you share it with other families that might be going through the same struggles. Okay, that's all from me for today. I hope this video was helpful and that you're going to implement some of the tips. If you do so, let me know down below in the comment section which tips were most helpful. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Bye!